I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Ferdinand Lie. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
Yeah, I'm so pumped up. Thank you for asking me on the show. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to have a nice conversation with you, Mr. Jones.
Oh, great pleasure, my friend, to connect with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
Currently, I'm living in Amsterdam. My parents are originally from Indonesia, but I was born in the Netherlands. And I've been living in Amsterdam for about, I'd say, 8 years now, and it's amazing. It's fantastic.
That's great. Love the accent.
Thank you. I think it's a bit Dutch English, like Dinglish.
Yeah, it's made a really great mix, a melting pot, if you would.
Thank you. Yeah, but you're from Trinidad, right?
Yeah. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah.
Isn't it like 5 a.m. there right now?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's pretty early, isn't it?
It is late for some people. Oh, it's pretty cool, my friend. It's worth it. Ferdinand is definitely worth it. So Ferdinand, please tell us which of your talents is responsible for Angel Jones getting up 5 a.m. in the morning.
I'm not sure what really the talent is, but I think you found me through LinkedIn. You just sent me a message, I think because maybe I'm running a podcast show as well. And the thing I've been really developing like the past 5 years is social skills, like interacting with people. And I think that's the reason I attract also those people who are open-minded and are curious, interested in a lot of things. And I think that's why we are here.
Yeah, most definitely. The podcast, my friend. You are a podcaster and that makes you family. So who did you learn the skill of podcasting from?
Well, I think I learned it from myself because I think the only way to learn things is if you practice it, you know. Of course, I listen to a lot of other podcasts from Tim Ferriss, Joe Rogan, but in the end, it's you're on your own, you know.
Yeah.
The only way to learn is to experience it yourself.
Well, tell us the name of your podcast.
Well, the name of my podcast is the Ferdinand Lie Show. I called it because it's in some sense it's about myself. Should I elaborate on that?
Yeah, please do, my friend, please.
Yeah, so when I was young, I was born 3 months premature. The doctors didn't have much hope back then. I was put immediately in an incubator. I was like 1 kilogram, very light. They were actually surprised that I was born alive, you know. They predicted that I will die at birth. Didn't happen. They predicted I would be handicapped, had to go to a wheelchair, had to go to attend a special school. All of that didn't happen. And also I was diagnosed with autism and ADHD. I'm not sure if you're aware what it is.
Yes, sir.
So I was diagnosed with those things from a fairly early age on, which caused me to see doctors basically my whole life up until I was about 20 years old. Actually, I'm thankful for my parents. They always were looking for the best treatment in this, and a lot of things I struggled with, I managed to overcome today, and that's I think that's the reason why I, due to the fact that I had to cope with all those things, I needed to find a way to function. And what I'm really most passionate about is personal development, like always trying to think about how can you be more effective as a person, how can I do this different, what can I learn from this? And that's also the reason why I started the show. The people and my guests, we have the podcast about 3 topics: personal development, entrepreneurship, or nutrition and fitness. And all of these guests, I have something that can resonate with me. And my goal is to talk about them. But in some way, when I talk about him, I hear myself talking. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure, most definitely. Yeah, well, that's pretty fascinating. I'm glad that you jumped into that, and I'm glad that now you're not keeping that conversation for yourself, but you're sharing it with as many people that are willing to listen. So good job, Ferdinand.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So why will you continue now that you've started?
Oh, you mean talking about a podcast and stuff?
Yeah, or impacting people's lives.
Yeah, well, right now my goal is to, first of all, I for about a year or maybe 1 year and a half, I really decided that choosing or um, I decided that I want to be who I am, and that sounds weird, I know, but like 2 years ago, I didn't tell everyone. I read books about self-help, personal development. I read books about those people, and that's what I enjoy doing because I, I really like to talk with people about personal development and deeper conversations. I can do the superficial stuff like the normal stuff most people do, but at some I get bored easily with that, and then I go a layer deeper and deeper. You understand what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's where get where I enjoy what I enjoy the most. And if you find someone, the thing is you feel it. You feel you feel when you're meeting someone like that because
Yeah.
it's flowing very easily.
I definitely know what you mean, my friend. Well, tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3
It's a
years.
couple of things. I think it's not limited to just one, but the way I'm living right now is actually, well, it's pretty much based on three pillars. I'd say first one is vulnerability and authenticity. So I believe this is a big one because the moment I show true vulnerability to the world, um, like I'm just saying out there, I need help. Can anyone help me? I have this. Some people who are diagnosed with autism or ADHD, they shy away from telling other people because, and that's what I did as well. In the beginning, I was shy and I didn't want to tell it because I was afraid of rejection. It was fear. And the moment I open up myself to the world, to the other people, that's the funny thing is that's the moment when everything changed and
Mm.
really started to click for me. So that's the first thing. Second thing is gratitude. Gratitude for me is everything. Like I'm so grateful for everything that's all the possibilities coming into my life. I think that's really something amazing that I have the possibility to do something here on this planet. And the last thing, mind. The mind is everything. The way you see things, that's everything, man. That decides all your actions and the results you're getting in your life. And if you do nothing, then nothing will happen. If you do something, you might fail, but you can learn from it and you can go forward. For me, failure doesn't exist. It sounds cheesy.
No, you're sounding great.
Thank you.
Amazing audience, you're hearing it live here from Ferdinand Lie. Again, he is the podcast host of the Ferdinand Lie Show. That show, my friend, is not in English just yet, right? Some of your episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, when
So
you spoke to
basically,
the beginning, your episode, when you give who you are, that is in English, definitely.
correct. So there is actually, I've recorded 4 episodes so far. 3 of them are online right now. And the first one is in English, however, but the majority of my guests, obviously because I live in the Netherlands, they are Dutch-speaking guests, and I figured it would not make really sense to talk not in your native language. But there's also a lot of expats in Amsterdam. Amsterdam is really expat friendly. There are a lot of foreigners living here, and they love it because English. Everyone speaks English as well here.
Hmm.
So I do know uh, some English speaking guests, but then I figured I also need to reach out to other people on the internet, English speaking guests. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing right now as well. Also inspired by this something like this. It's
Yeah,
really great.
yeah, go for it, go for it, go for it. That sounds good. I would love to hear you interview someone with your accent in English. Like, yeah, most
Yeah, well,
definitely.
actually, you can listen. There's one episode.
Well,
Mine.
yeah, there's the one
It's the
episode
first
when
one.
he's speaking, but it's not enough. All right,
All
it's
right, we need more. Maybe I should invite you to the podcast.
well, sounds great. I'll
So
definitely be
someday,
willing to
and
have a
then
conversation with you.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I know nothing about you, and it's I think you're an amazing person as well.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, Ferdinand, let's switch gears for a moment. Now, let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Ferdinand, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory. That's a tough one because there's so many of them actually. what I recall the most is probably all those the times I visited the doctor with my parents. I think that sticks. That's what sticks the most. That's my earliest childhood memory. And the funny thing is, for me, it was normal then. I didn't know better. It's only when I turned 18 when I managed to start to think about, actually could start to think about what really happened or what's up with me, that I figured out that it was all about this. That's
Wow.
so yeah.
So how old do you think you were from that earliest time of visiting the doctor?
You mean how old I was when I
Yeah,
started visiting? Yeah,
like
very early, like
like how?
four, three,
Okay,
four.
you remember that time, all right?
Well, not really back then, but maybe like six or something.
Okay.
And I mean, I didn't visit one doctor. I visited the whole country. My parents always looked for different kind of treatments. Not also other methods, other
Yeah.
doctors that could help.
Why do you think those memories are so clear?
That's a good question, actually. I'm not sure. Obviously I also have other childhood memories, but this is what sticks most. I think because this is what defined me as a person today, mostly.
How do you see it connecting to who you are
Well,
now?
the way it connects is that's where it all began. Like all those consultings to those doctors. My parents trying to get the best treatment for me. I didn't know it back then, obviously. That's um, without that, I think I wouldn't be who I am today. Um, yeah, because I I I think I'm lucky in that sense. But I'm not saying that going to the doctors going to the doctor is always the best option for someone who is diagnosed with autism or ADHD. I'm just saying, for me, I think it's nothing else could have been better
Yeah.
because I'm so happy with where I am today. And obviously, for some people, always, I'm still learning every day. There's always new challenges. You never stop learning.
Love
But
it.
I do know that
Intriguing.
I do know that I've changed a lot over the past 20 years. Definitely sure. That's so sure.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture? Ooh, my voice. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Of course, sure.
I love the idea of what you've done with what has happened to your physical body, in that you needed to check in with the multiple doctors so often, and that no one doctor held the answer to what your scenario needed. Intriguingly enough, it's fascinating that in the personal development space, it's so necessary to check in with yourself, to bring improvement to yourself through others, and to see that you're operating in the both spaces now, where you've learned the value of getting the information and applying it to your specific needs. To see you doing that now, but also pulling in to have a podcast where you're offering that information to other people, that is fascinating.
I think that's a really great interpretation of it. I definitely agree with it. Maybe two things we should add to the equation.
Sure.
First one is, I said when I was 18, I started to think about myself, and I read books. I did different workshops, did meditations, breathing exercises, and it helped for me, and I'm still doing today. That's what really gets me fired up and feeling pumped because of those things. And for me, it helps. And so I found the solution in more mindful. Yeah, I won't say mindful, but mind things. Because I basically altered somewhat my brain in some sense. And the second thing, my biggest why I'm here is to help other people. I feel that. I do give a lot about people, and so that's I think how I would say it best, because I always feel the urge to, wherever I am, basically, to, if I see that someone's looking for solutions or is lost or needs help, I always try to proactively help this person. And this is obviously not This is also the same in all other settings. But my pitfall, what I'm struggling with, uh, in this is that I still need more time to get more experience with certain things and not always push my own opinion so hard in the beginning. So that's why I created podcast, to show how other people do it, and not and sometimes I also talk about myself, but it's not like I'm telling you how to do it, I that's not working.
Yeah.
So that's why I stopped doing that.
There we go. If we fast forwarded, Ferdinand, to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Ooh, that's my favorite song. Let me first think. I think, yeah, back then I listened to hip hop. Nas, you might know him.
Yeah.
Very old school. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to hip hop when I was younger, and
So what's one song from Nas?
Nas. There's many. I know I can. I think I can. Is the name.
Well, it definitely connects, doesn't it?
Yeah, actually, yeah. There's a ton of different. Yeah, Nas was one I really listened to a lot when I was younger.
All right,
Yeah.
my friend. Well, now, Ferdinand, we have arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Strap it down in 12. Ferdinand, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not in a direct sense, but obviously the people I'm involved with, I try to help them. I guess. Does it make sense?
It does make sense. Are you married?
I'm not married.
Do you have children?
Nope.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in some bigger energy.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Nope.
How about 3 hours a week?
Probably no. Don't think so.
What about screen time? The phone and the computer, is it more than 8 or
Yeah,
less?
Computer is a lot.
Let me get to the end of the question.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's good. I'm playing. All right. If you had to share with us, Ferdinand, your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
Interesting. I would say if you are showing your vulnerability to the world, then I think you are authentic at that moment. And if you feel grateful for life and you understand how the mind works, I think your options are limitless. Everything you want, then it just comes to you and you will find the solutions.
Ferdinand, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
2 things. So for anyone listening, thank you for listening. And if you want to check out my podcast, the Ferdinand Lie Show, you can look it up.
Ferdinand Lie, again, great pleasure. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.